My brother, for those of you who are new here, you don't know who my brother was. He had cerebral palsy. So what that meant was for him, he shook all the time like this. All the time. And some things he couldn't do. He couldn't, really brush his hair good. He was like everybody else. He get an attitude. He didn't like the way he was. How many of you know teenagers that are just total jerks? Yeah, they're just crabby all the time, just always angry. When my brother became a teenager, he might have had cerebral palsy. He might have had some mental handicaps, but he was just like, he just didn't like himself. We had this wall in our house called the mashed potato wall, because if he didn't want mashed potatoes and my mom sat it there, he would just shoo, right there. Beautiful wall, mashed potato wall. So he didn't necessarily like the way he was. He knew that he had limitations. He didn't like the limitations. He struggled with that stuff. Let me tell you what we learned in our family. We surrounded our brother. We saw him. We supported him. We encouraged him to run the race. And so we take him to Special Olympics one time. And my brother loved to swim. He wasn't good at it. He wasn't fast. He just loved the water. We took him to Special Olympics, and he was going to be in the 100-meter freestyle. Like jumping Olympics out of a swimming pool. You swim to the other end. You swim back. You're done. And he happens to be going up against these 3 kids with Down syndrome. If you know anything about Down syndrome and Special Olympics, you know that Down syndrome kids, they're like the LeBron James of the Special Olympics, right? They run faster, jump higher, swim. They win everything. So my brother's he's up on the start line, and he's just happy to be there. He's just flapping and waving to us we're up in the stands. That's my brother down there, and they said, on your mark, get set, and they don't fire the gun, right? Because in Special Olympics, it's a bad idea, right? Safety first, people. So it's on your mark, get set, go. Splash, splash, splash. By the time he jumped in the water, they're at the other end of the pool. By the time he gets to the other end of the pool, they're out, toweled off, award ceremony, the whole deal. It's over. My brother's at the other end of the pool, holding on, and he has lost. Now look, there's a lot of preachers that will smile big like this and tell you that you're a winner and that you'll never have trouble. I'm not that guy. Let me just tell you this. I've just preached a message about running a race with perseverance, about running light, running long, all these things. There will be times in your life when you will be where my brother was. You will have tried and you will fail. The question today is, if your heart's full of thanksgiving, if you're thankful, what do you do in that moment? And I learned from my brother to do this. Make the best of every situation. And he holds on, he turns around, and he suddenly realized he had an entire Olympic-sized swimming pool all to himself. So he just kicked back on his back, and he's just taking his time coming back, He's flipping around in the water, doing the whole whoosh, just all this stuff, and kind of waving at us up in the stands. And we're up in the stands kind of going, oh, God, Stephen, It's the Special Olympics. They don't like people to die. It's a good thing. So they have safety precautions everywhere. They had lifeguards all around that pool. And I used to be a lifeguard. Any of you guys lifeguards? Yeah. Here's the thing about lifeguards. Little secret. Lifeguards don't like to get wet. They don't. They just like to be cool and do that little whistle thing. Hey, baby. That's right. I can do it that way too. I don't like to get wet. I saved a girl one time in 3 feet of water. It went like this. Stand up! Stand. Reach for me. Farther. Don't make me get this. Put your feet on the... You okay now? Get all wet. Hey, baby. That whistle thing's not cool when you're dripping wet, right? They don't like people to get hurt at Special Olympics. They got lifeguards all around that. My brother got to the middle of that pool and he started treading water. And he got this grin on his face. You got people in your family like that, right? When they grin, you're like, oh, I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be good. So we start telling him, that's my boy, he's my brother. And he took this big old deep breath, and he went straight to the bottom in the middle of an Olympic-sized swimming pool. Splash, 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 splash. All those lifeguards, they all swam out and made a little circle, and as soon as they did, he just popped his head up and kept on swimming. I love that. Be thankful this morning. You are surrounded. You have a cloud of witnesses. They see you. They support you. They cheer your name and point you to Jesus. You can make the best of even the worst circumstance when you take your eyes off of you and fix them on Jesus.